Good, everybody. So today we are still simplifying fractions, and this video referred to worksheet 3. In the previous video, we looked at simplifying algebraic fractions, and what we learned from that is that we can simplify fractions if it's written as a one term in the numerator divided by one term in the denominator. And because then we can divide with the highest common factor. So in worksheet 2, the exercises were all two-term expressions. So let's expand it a bit to three-term expressions in the numerator and denominator. So same rules. I can simplify by adding like terms, or I can simplify by factorizing, or both. So we are now going to look at how we reduce three terms to one term by doing that. And to get one term in the numerator and one term in the denominator. So I'm going to start with the first example where we're simplifying a fraction where my numerator is a three-term expression. And if you look at it, you can see that it's quadratic because it's descending powers of x, power 2, power 1, power 0, with your last term being a constant. And in the denominator, I have two terms. So what is my objective here? I want to reduce my numerator to one term and my denominator to one term. So I cannot add the terms in the numerator because there is no like term. But it is a quadratic expression, which means I can factorize it. So let's see how we do that. I'm going to do it here. The method that you were taught. I'm going to look at the first term, which is x squared. So what will give me x squared is x times x. And I'm going to look at the last term, negative 12. Factors of negative 12 that when I add it will give me negative 1, the middle term. So the only factors of 12 that has a difference of 1 between them is 4 and 3. And if I multiply, I must get a negative. And if I add, I must get a negative. Which means my biggest factor, which is 4, must be a negative 4. And I multiply with 3, then I'm going to get negative 12 there, and I'm going to get x squared there. And my outside terms give me minus 4x. Inside terms give me 3x, which will give me the negative x I want. So that means my factors going to be my two brackets, x minus 4 times x plus 3. And that makes one term in the numerator, which is what I want. So let's look at the denominator. I've got two terms. I can't add. But then there's our highest common factor. You see that. So I can take 2 out and divide both terms with 2. That will leave x squared minus 9 in the bracket. Right. Now I have one term. Divide by one term. But if you look at the denominator, it is not fully factorized because you have a difference of squares there. So I can factorize this bracket and I can rewrite it so that I have, there's my numerator. I'm dividing it by 2 times. 2 brackets for the difference of squares. First term in the bracket is the square root of x squared, which is just x times x, opposite signs. Second term in the bracket is the square root of 9, which is 3. Right, factorized. Now look at my factors. It's one term expression over one term expression. And I now have a highest common factor. Do you see that? There's a bracket x plus 3 and x plus 3, which represent the same number, which means I can actually now divide with a highest common factor. And I can say that x plus 3 go into x plus 3 once. So what is left in my numerator is x minus 4 times 1 divided by, in my denominator, I've got 2 times x minus 3, which means that it is fully factorized. There's nothing else I can do, so it is done. Right, that's the one example. So my second example, I have a trinomial. It is quadratic. In my numerator, I have a trinomial, and it's quadratic in the denominator. So I need to factorize both of these quadratic expressions. So I'm not going to go through all the steps again. You should be able to know by now how we do it. I'm going to have two brackets. And in my first term in my bracket will be what gives me x squared, which will be x times x. And I'm going to look at the last terms. Factors of 6 that when I multiply give me plus 6. But when I add them will give me negative 5. So the only factors of 6 that add up to 5 is 2 and 3. Or if I have 6 and I subtract 1. But to get a plus, I need to multiply a negative by a negative. So negative 6 times negative 1 will give me plus 6, but it won't give me minus 5. So I'm going to use 3 and 2. Because negative 2 times negative 3 will give me negative 5 when I add it. So I'm going to have negative 2, negative 3 as the second term in my bracket. One term, a bracket times a bracket, so that's factorized. Under the line, I'm going to have two brackets as well. So the first term in my bracket is once again factors of the first term of the quadratic expression, which is x times x. Factors of 12. When I multiply, I must get 12. When I add, I must get negative 7. And the factors are going to be negative 3 times negative 4, give me plus 12. Negative 3 plus negative 4 give me negative 7 when I add. So it is factorized, one term in the numerator, one term in the denominator, which means I can now look for the highest common factor. And you can all see it. It's the bracket x minus 3. I divide with the highest common factor in the numerator and denominator. And I get an answer x minus 2 divided by x minus 4. And it's not really necessary here to keep it in brackets, but it doesn't make a difference. So you can leave it like that and you are done, because there's nothing else to be done. It's in its simplest form. Right guys, 2 examples. I think you are ready to try the exercises in worksheet sheet 3. So good luck with that, and thanks for watching once again.